Looking for you. I'm looking for you. Don't know where to go. Don't know what to do. I woke
Hey,
up.
Carla here. You're watching the Surf Institute Video Library. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to read waves. It's a tough one, but over time, you're going to get it. While at first you may have trouble recognizing rideable waves, over time you will develop a keen eye. Just as when you were a child learning to read, at first you could only read 2- and 3-letter words, but over time your vocabulary grew. So will your experience with reading waves. To know how to read waves, you need to understand wave science. Surfable waves are generated from storms out at sea. These storms send swells of wave energy into the coastline. As waves enter shallow water, they slow down, grow taller, and change shape. At a depth of half the wavelength, waves start to rise and roll and appear like hills. As these hills gradually steepen, they appear more as cliffs and finally break at a depth less than 1.3 times their height. The main point of power in a wave resides where it's breaking, the curl or peak, where the whitewater and clean face meet. There are 3 main types of surf breaks: point breaks, beach breaks, and reef breaks. While most point breaks will offer more defined takeoff zones, beach breaks and reef breaks may require more assessment in identifying the peak. Once the curl is located, take note of the direction that is moving and shouldering off. Always choose to ride in the same direction with the curl, not into the turbulent whitewater. Now that we understand wave science, let's talk about how to apply it. It's super important to keep your eye on the horizon. You can't catch what you can't see. Boats, buoys, and barges can assist in seeing sets when they rise and fall as the crests and troughs travel by. Understand how and where a wave is traveling by looking down the line. That is, keep an eye on the entire length of a wave's crest. Knowing where it begins and ends will help you position and plan for an optimum ride. Spend time learning one's surroundings, both prior to and during one session. Paddle out when the sets of waves are at a minimum. When sitting in the lineup, use landmarks on the beach like lifeguard towers, buildings, trees, etc. to keep oneself in the appropriate position for catching waves. Check these spots often, as well as being diligent in keeping eyes on the outside, ready to either paddle out over larger incoming sets or to turn around and take a ride. Alrighty, let's break it down. Storms send swells of wave energy into the coastline. As waves start to rise and roll in, they look like hills rolling through the ocean. As these hills gradually steepen, they appear more as cliffs and finally break along the shore. The source of power in a wave is in the curl and should be utilized to ride along the clean face of the wave. Along with keeping your eye on the horizon, use boats and buoys to spot sets coming in. And always be alert. Know your spot in the lineup, where the waves are breaking, and how they are peeling along so that you maximize your session with successful rides. That's all for this episode. Now get out there and practice.
looking for you.